All right, I'm going to show you a few tips and tricks for actually drawing from an appendix inside the waistband. Now, this is a funny thing when you get into it because you feel like, hey, all I got to do is move my shirt out of the way and I'm able to get to my gun. But what we want to do is do that the most efficient way possible. And I'm going to start off by kind of a wrong way or a myth when we look at it. And the first one is grabbing the bottom of your shirt tail. And this is probably one of my pet peeves when I see people going to make or draw their gun from concealment, that I see as a really slow method and can really kind of have problems later on. Because what happens is when you wear different shirts, they all do not have the same length. And so as you go down to find the shirt tail and grab the bottom of the shirt tail and pull up, it's not consistent, okay? And so that's what we want to work for here, is consistency on the draw. So what we're looking for is consistency on the draw. And so what I always point people to is go for your belly button. It's as simple as that. You know where it's at all times, right? Because it's part of your body. So what I'm looking at is actually placing my hand right on the belly button. Now you can see my finger orientation. A lot of people will do this and grab their shirt, but they'll grab sideways. Now watch what I do when I grab my shirt sideways. Nothing, right? It doesn't really lift up, expose the gun at all, right? Now watch when I point my fingers down and I grab. It's already exposing a good piece of the gun where I could actually probably get to it in a situation without ever having to move my hand at all. It's already exposing the gun. So once we get to this point, we're belly button, fingers down, we grab the shirt. Now we're gonna lift to another point of contact on our body that we always know is there. So we're gonna go from belly button to sternum, okay? Now, developing this consistency is key in getting and establishing a great grip from concealment. So now if you watch through this process, we're down the belly button, we grab the shirt, we pull up to sternum. Now the gun is completely clear at all times. No matter how many times I do this, from whatever hand position, it is belly button, shirt, sternum, every single time. And I know if I get that shirt up to my sternum, the gun is perfectly clear. So that's going to give you a clear access to establish your grip. So we can walk through this a little bit. There's a key part of this is establishing your grip at the holster. And when you're going from an inside the waistband, this gets a little difficult too. So you're really having to tune your holster to your body shape to make sure you can get that efficient draw. But when we do this, we're clearing the garment out of the way. I'm actually wrapping my thumb right over the top of the sights here, kind of like a crab claw, which pulls my hand up on the back strap of the gun. And then I'm wrapping those three fingers around, and the trigger finger is right outside the trigger guard. So now as I come through, I'm actually pushing down a little bit on the holster and picking the gun up out of the holster. And now we're ready to actually present out on target. So what that does on that establishing the grip is consistency again. You'll see a lot of people that will actually like slap at the holster to try to scoop it out. And the problem is there's a lot of chances that you're actually going to get a low, bad grip, and then you end up adjusting as you start pushing the gun outward. So establishing it here by crab clawing over the top is going to give me a nice consistent feel, and the grip is high up on the gun as possible every single time. So I'll go through a couple positions now, and if you notice, they're all the same, and they really don't take any more time to do any of these with this simple method. So Caleb talked about one style of hand position on the outside the waistband drawing from concealment, and we're going to start there with what he calls the fig leaf or the cheater stance. And this is really developed a cheater stance from appendix inside the waistband, because if I'm standing here like this, doesn't matter where I'm at, it's a pretty relaxed position. A lot of us stand like this regardless. But if you notice my hand here, I'm actually looping either my pinky or ring finger or something like that under the bottom of my shirt. So now, whenever I need to draw the gun, I'm literally just lifting straight up now. There's no need for me to come out, hit my belly button and pull up, because I've already got the bottom of my shirt already held here. So it's a natural position like this, and then we can go through and actually grab the gun. We'll do that one more time. We got a finger wrapped underneath the bottom of the shirt tail. Just like that. So the next one that we're looking at doing here is our hands up surrender position. So we have our hands up. Now, when I'm carrying appendix, we have to clear cover first. So I actually take a lot of thought into where my hands are positioned because I want my offhand getting to my body first before my shooting dominant hand. Reason for this is, if it's the opposite way, I'm having to move this hand a lot faster to clear this piece of garment out of the way so I can establish my grip. So in that surrender position, I like to keep my dominant hand a little further forward to give this hand a little bit of a cheater to get to that cover and move it out of the way. And you can watch how this is in a little slower motion. We'll do that one more time. And then more of a fast. So you can notice doing this allows me for that consistency every single time. You can see as this non-dominant hand comes down, it's at my belly button, grabbing the shirt up to my sternum every single time. The last one we got here is just hands relaxed at sides. And this is kind of one of the more harder ones for the appendix carry users because this is kind of your farthest point. Even up here, I have a little bit quicker access to the gun, but the side, I'm having to move both my hands in a kind of a different direction and they're having to do two different things. So when you look at it now, we can have our hands at our sides. The non-dominant hand goes to our belly button and grabs the shirt. The other hand moves up. So if you notice, on this hand, I'm having to actually pull up and drive back down on the gun to establish that nice clean grip every single time. One thing to keep in mind, I'm not looking at my holster to draw. I'm not looking down range at my target and going and looking back up. I've got this because I know my belly button is here, my sternum's here, my shirt's there. I can keep my focus down range, grab my shirt, and present the dot onto the target, and I'm ready to shoot. Now we can go through this live a couple times just so you can see it in a kind of a 80% and then a full speed. All right, so our live fire will start with that cheater stance here. Let's see what that looks for. I'll go through at a slower speed so you can see what's going on. All right, we'll go a little faster here. You notice this is a very efficient drawing form here right there. So we'll do the hands up, kind of surrender. Got dominant hand a little further out. Let's go slow first. A little faster. Then we just have our hands relaxed at sides, okay?